When we think about history's great inventors, names come to mind, right? Edison, Bell, the Wright brothers. But what if the person who invented a world-changing technology was a complete ghost? A phantom who built an entirely new financial world and then just vanished? Well, that's the story we're diving into today, the hunt for that ghost, and what's become one of the greatest mysteries of our time.
So that's the big question, isn't it? Back in October 2008, some person, or maybe it was a group, we don't know, using the name Satoshi Nakamoto published a paper. A few months later, they launched the software that would grow into a multi-billion-dollar asset class. And then, after a couple of years of quiet emails and forum posts, poof, they were just gone.
But here's the thing. This ghost left something behind. It's estimated that in the early days, Satoshi mined about 1.1 million Bitcoin, a fortune that today is worth tens of billions of dollars. And the really crucial part? This entire stash, this digital treasure chest, has never been touched. Not a single coin has ever moved. It's just sitting there, watched over by a phantom.
Now, to really get why this invention was so important, we have to rewind the clock. We have to understand the exact moment it was born. Because Bitcoin wasn't just some random piece of code dropped into the world. Oh no, it was a direct, calculated response to a world that was deep in financial chaos.
So what is it really? Well, at its core, Bitcoin is just a system for sending digital money from one person to another. Now, before Bitcoin, digital cash had this one huge fatal flaw. You could just copy and paste it, basically spending the same digital dollar more than once. Bitcoin's stroke of genius was solving this double spend problem, using some clever cryptography and a public ledger, completely cutting out the need for a middleman like a bank. And the timing here is absolutely everything. The Bitcoin white paper shows up in October 2008, which was the absolute peak of the global financial crisis. For a group of privacy advocates and cryptographers called cypherpunks, people who are all about using tech to empower individuals, this was the moment they'd been waiting for. It was a chance to build a real alternative, a currency totally free from the control of the very banks and governments they believed had failed everyone. But brilliant ideas rarely pop out of thin air. Satoshi was really standing on the shoulders of giants. Back in the 90s, you had these brilliant minds already working on the pieces of the puzzle. Adam Back's Hashcash was a proof-of-work system, which is a key part of mining. A year later, Nick Szabo proposed something called BitGold, which was basically a direct blueprint for Bitcoin. Satoshi's real breakthrough was figuring out how to put all these pieces together into a system that actually worked. Okay, so after creating this whole system and chatting with a few early developers for a couple of years, Satoshi Nakamoto just disappears in early 2011. And ever since that day, a kind of global manhunt has been going on, with people trying to piece together every last clue this ghost left behind. The evidence file is, well, it's remarkably thin. All anyone has to go on are these digital breadcrumbs, the original white paper, a few hundred forum posts, some private emails with collaborators, and the original code itself. Every single word, every timestamp, every little turn of phrase has been analyzed to death, looking for any clue to the creator's identity. In one of their last known emails sent to a developer named Gavin Anderson, Satoshi made their wishes pretty clear. They wanted the spotlight off of them and totally on the project. The creator didn't want to be a leader or some figurehead. They wanted the invention to stand on its own 2 feet. And with that, they were gone. But of course, by trying to become a ghost, Satoshi pretty much guaranteed the world would start a manhunt. With such little evidence, the investigation has led to a lineup of some fascinating and very different suspects. So let's open up the case files. Our first candidate is an absolute legend in the world of cryptography, Hal Finney. He was a pioneer, a huge voice in the cypherpunk movement, and he was there right at the very, very beginning of Bitcoin. The evidence for Finney is, well, it's pretty compelling. He was the first person ever to receive a Bitcoin transaction sent from Satoshi themselves, which would be a perfect way to test the system, right? He had the exact skills needed, and he'd even created a precursor technology. Plus, linguistic analysis showed his writing was a really close match to Satoshi's. And then there's this totally bizarre twist of fate. He lived just a few blocks from a man whose birth name was Dorian Satoshi Nakamoto. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Despite all that, Finney denied it until he sadly passed away in 2014. Okay, next up is the computer scientist and legal scholar Nick Szabo. If Hal Finney was the perfect person to help test Bitcoin, a lot of people think Szabo basically wrote the original blueprint.
So get this. A full decade before Bitcoin even existed, Szabo designed something called BitGold. And the parallels are just undeniable. It described a decentralized digital currency, it used proof of work, it proposed a public ledger. I mean, the similarities are so striking that a lot of researchers are convinced that Bitcoin is just the successful version of Szabo's BitGold idea.
But just like Finney, Szabo has consistently and very publicly denied being Satoshi. In an email to an author who was investigating him, he was pretty direct about it, basically saying the mystery lies somewhere else. Our third candidate is a more recent and, frankly, a pretty tragic possibility, Len Sassaman. He was a brilliant cryptographer and privacy advocate right at the heart of this cypherpunk movement.
The case for Sassaman is built on this web of really intriguing circumstantial clues. A tribute to him is actually embedded forever into the Bitcoin blockchain itself. His wife once tweeted about the creator planning to leave the project just days before Satoshi's final message. And here's the part that gives you chills. Sassaman tragically passed away in July 2011, just a few months after Satoshi vanished for good. Is it a coincidence or the final act of a secret genius?
So while all these other suspects have denied the connection, there's one man who has loudly and repeatedly insisted that he's the one behind the curtain, an Australian computer scientist named Craig Wright. Wright's campaign to be recognized as Satoshi has been, well, it's been long and very public. He's claimed ownership, registered copyrights, and even sued people who called him a fraud. But the entire crypto community always came back to one missing piece of evidence. He has never proven he controls Satoshi's original Bitcoin by signing a message with the private keys. And a recent court case brought this whole chapter to a very decisive end. In March of 2024, a UK High Court judge ruled in no uncertain terms. After looking at all the evidence, the court said that it was overwhelming that Craig Wright is not Satoshi Nakamoto. And for many people, that was the definitive end to his claim. So, after all the detectives, all the theories, the courtroom drama, we're right back where we started, with a ghost. And that forces us to ask a much more fundamental question. After all this searching, does it actually matter who Satoshi Nakamoto was? I mean, what if the mystery isn't a flaw in Bitcoin's origin story? What if it's actually its most important feature? Think about it. The creator's anonymity might just be their greatest gift to the project. Without a founder, there's no single person to pressure or to influence or to corrupt. There's no central point of failure. It forces everyone to judge the technology on its own merits, not on the reputation of the person who made it. It is the ultimate expression of decentralization.
And maybe this is the ultimate lesson here. This quote from one of Bitcoin's earliest developers, Gavin Andresen, really says it all. The identity of Satoshi Nakamoto might be the most compelling mystery of the digital age, but maybe the most important thing is that it doesn't need to be solved. The architect disappeared so that the architecture could live on, all on its own.